Hi, so we're here in Australia, in Sydney, which is not the country's capital, by the way. But I think you're here celebrating Australia Day. The day is almost over by now, actually, but I think it's always too busy drinking ginger beer and eating lamb cutlet. So anyway. But the thing is, we're here with historian Bradley Manera to understand a bit what's the Australia Day. What does it mean for Australia?
I think you'd have to ask the 24 million Australians what Australia Day means. Perhaps there's 24 million different reasons. I think Australia Day means a whole range of things. I mean, it's my birthday. It's also the day on which the British laid claim to the Australian continent. And so our Indigenous people have a bad attitude to the 26th of January because they see it as the start of the invasion of their country, their homeland. But for most Australians, it's a public holiday. Allows them to have a barbecue, drink lots of beer, and for a few, it may mean that we remember or at least celebrate the day on which European settlement was established on the Australian continent.
Which year was that?
In 1788.
Okay, so it's been a while.
So just over 200 years, 1788. It's your fault.
My fault?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
The first fleet to Australia included a number of British soldiers, but largely British convicts from British prisons, and they wouldn't have made it to Australia if they hadn't have stopped in Brazil to re-victual their ships. And so Brazil played a major role in the establishment of the British colony, the British penal colonies in the eastern colonies of Australia, in eastern Australia. So everybody that came to Sydney in 1788 had stopped in Brazil.
Before.
Yeah.
So basically, if you weren't for Brazil, I wouldn't be drinking this beer right now. And because, by the way, the largest beer company in the world is Brazil. But anyway, that's a bit behind, the Australia Day and historical reasons. I also heard there's something about a song, right? Or radio, something in the radio about a list of songs that were the most played songs in the year. Is this right?
The hottest 100.
Okay. So, but basically, this is how we celebrate Australia Day, right? Barbecue, beer, and a bit of history. Huh?
Right. Well, history is always the loser in Australia. If you wanted to build a museum, it is very difficult. If you wanted to build a football stadium, it would be done in a heartbeat. Australia has a bad attitude to history. So, if you look at the flags that we have hanging around the garden today, very few Australians would bother to recognise them or even care.
This flag here.
This flag. Funny you should ask. I'm glad you asked. Once upon a time, back in 1854, we were under the British boot heel. There was a British dictator in charge of the eastern colonies, and we were having a gold rush. There was lots and lots of gold discovered in Victoria and New South Wales.
Can you switch the music off?
And
Thank you.
But the ability to mine that gold was closely managed by the government. I'm trying to think of the appropriate words. It was very difficult to dig up gold without a whole range of licenses and restrictions. So the miners objected. They tried to say, no, we don't want all of the licensing fees and all of the taxes associated with mining for gold. And so they rose up in rebellion, and the rebellion occurred on the 3rd of December 1854, and they designed a flag that included, because we're in the southern hemisphere, the Southern Cross, the stars of the Southern Cross.
That you see from Brazil as
Yeah,
well.
indeed, of course. And so it was one of the first major acts of rebellion against the British Crown. And so our national flag includes the symbol of the Southern Cross as well as the British Union flag.
That's really interesting.
This is a copy of the flag that the miners raised during that rebellion in 1854 at the Eureka Lease in Victoria.
And do you see that flag in many places in Australia?
Well, tragically now it's being used by our union movement, and so it's being the ideas have been are being captured, reused for a range of modern 21st century political reasons, and so you do see that flag being used in a whole range of inappropriate ways.
Oh, so, in another way. Well, that's interesting, man. Thanks for the history class and the talk and the video, of course. See you guys. Bye bye.